Welcome! Today we're exploring Effortless, Make It Easier to Do What Matters Most by Greg McKeown. Many of us are disciplined and focused, yet we find ourselves utterly exhausted by the demands of modern life. We've been conditioned to believe that meaningful success requires blood, sweat, and tears, but this mindset often leads to burnout. This presentation will provide you with a practical toolkit to clear mental clutter, simplify your processes, and achieve residual results, all while preserving your sanity. Let's find a lighter path together. We've all heard the big rocks theory. If you put the most essential tasks in your jar first, everything else will fit. But what happens when you've stripped life down to the essentials and there are still too many big rocks? When your jar is overflowing with must-dos, the marginal return of working harder actually becomes negative. We must reject the idea that burnout is a badge of honor. Instead of pushing ourselves past our limits, we need to find an easier way to achieve success. There are two ways to approach our goals. The exhausting model assumes that anything worth doing requires superhuman effort, leading us to overcomplicate and overthink. This results in burnout without the desired outcomes. Conversely, the effortless model suggests that the most essential things can actually be the easiest ones. By finding the simpler path and putting in less effort, we can achieve the right results while maintaining our mental and physical health. McKeown organizes this strategy into 3 building blocks: state, action, and results. It begins with your effortless state, where you clear mental clutter and negative emotions to make focus easier. Next is effortless action, where you simplify the physical steps of a project to make work easier to do. Finally, we aim for effortless results, using leverage to ensure that a one-time investment of effort yields high, repeated returns over time. Each layer builds upon the previous one.
We are conditioned to distrust easy and believe that the right way must be the harder one. This assumption is often the biggest barrier to progress. Effortless inversion means turning a problem upside down and asking, what if this could be easy? When a task feels impossibly hard, stop pushing and ask how you might be overcomplicating it. Often, once you free yourself from the assumption of difficulty, a far simpler and more effective solution will appear. To return to an effortless state, use pairing and pace. Reduce the lag between action and reward by pairing an essential task with an enjoyable one, like listening to your favorite podcast only while running on the treadmill. Additionally, remember that relaxing is a responsibility. Break essential work into sessions of no more than 90 minutes and follow a simple rule. Do not do more today than you can completely recover from by tomorrow to avoid the boom and bust cycle. Important projects often remain unfinished because we keep tinkering with them endlessly, adding unnecessary complexity, the Vasa syndrome. To get things over the line, you must define what done looks like. Define done as the exact point just before your extra effort begins to outpace the actual output achieved. Take 60 seconds to visualize your desired outcome clearly. Once you establish these clear conditions for completion, you can focus all your resources on crossing that finish line. The done matrix helps turn vague goals into concrete endpoints. Instead of a goal like launch my product, define done as 10 beta users try the app and provide feedback. For a podcast, done is when the audio is recorded and uploaded. This clarity prevents procrastination and provides a clear instruction to your mind. Finally, use a done for the day list. If you complete these specific items, you should permit yourself to feel satisfied and stop working. We often feel overwhelmed because we misjudge the first step, seeing a complex, multi-step process as a single daunting task. To gain momentum, identify the absolute minimum viable action, one that requires zero mental energy. Start with a 10-minute microburst of focused activity to ignite your energy. Remember the power of 2.5 seconds. This is our psychological present. In just 2.5 seconds, you can choose to shift your focus toward what is important right now. The core principle of simplification is maximizing the steps not taken. Instead of trying to simplify the steps of an existing complex process, start at 0 and ask, what are the absolute minimum steps required for completion? Think of Amazon's one-click ordering. It removed every possible barrier to the goal. In your essential projects, remember that completion is infinitely better than superficial embellishments. Resist the urge to go the extra mile on things that don't add value.
In our enthusiasm, we often try to sprint out of the gate, but powering through to the point of exhaustion guarantees a crash later. The military mantra, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, teaches us that a steady, coordinated pace is more effective than a cycle of sprint and recover. To make effortless progress, you must have the courage to be rubbish initially. Embrace learning-sized mistakes rapidly, use zero drafts to get words on the page, and establish a sustainable rhythm. To protect your pace, establish strict boundaries using a progress pacer. Set a lower bound that is high enough to keep you motivated but low enough to achieve even on chaotic days. For example, write at least 500 words. Simultaneously, set an upper bound that is high enough for good progress but low enough to prevent total exhaustion. For example, write no more than 1,000 words. Finding this right range keeps you moving steadily and prevents the demoralizing effects of overexertion. Most of us are used to linear results, where effort equals output in a 1-to-1 ratio. If you don't work today, you get nothing. However, residual results are different. You exert effort once and reap benefits repeatedly, even while you sleep. Examples include writing software or hiring the right person. Residual results function like compound interest, where your one-time investment creates a self-sustaining cycle of success that can be virtually infinite. Knowledge is a powerful lever for residual results. First, learn principles, not methods. Specific methods are useful once for specific problems, but first principles are fundamental building blocks you can apply hundreds of times. Second, lift by teaching. Follow the Sesame Street simple rule. Identify straightforward, easy-to-understand messages. When you teach others to teach, you harness the strength of 10, turning your audience into a room full of teachers who spread your impact. As Alfred North Whitehead noted, civilization advances by extending the number of important operations we can perform without thinking about them. Extreme complexity increases cognitive load, making us prone to avoidable errors. To combat this, we don't necessarily need more knowledge. We need tools that help us apply what we know without taxing our limited working memory. Checklists are a marvelous tool for this, taking the thinking out of the equation to ensure essential tasks are done right every time. Automate the essential domains of your life using a cheat sheet approach. A key rule of thumb is to take the high-tech path for the essential, like auto-depositing a percentage of your paycheck into savings, and the low-tech path for the non-essential. You can automate health by scheduling recurring annual physicals today, or automate execution by using standard templates and writing cheat sheets. These single choices eliminate the burden of 1,000 future decisions, yielding significant repeated benefits. We often manage small irritations for years because managing them takes less time in the moment than solving them. However, the long tail of time management suggests we should strike at the root. Mistakes and frictions are dominoes with a cascading effect. A single small intervention today, like a 2-minute fix for a jammed drawer, can prevent hundreds of future frustrations. Solving a problem before it happens saves incalculable time and aggravation over the long run. Prevent future complications with the 2-minute fix. Measure twice, cut once to catch errors before they do damage. Simultaneously, recognize that trust is the ultimate engine oil for high-performing teams. Low trust makes every conversation a grind, but high trust reduces friction and increases speed. Invest once in hiring based on the 3 I's: integrity, intelligence, and initiative. A high-trust hire produces results hundreds of times over without the need for exhausting micromanagement. In conclusion, life does not have to be as hard and complicated as we often make it. No matter the challenges or responsibilities you face, there is always a choice in how you carry them. You can continue to give up on the essentials or power through until you break. Or you can choose to find the lighter, effortless path. By reclaiming your effortless state and taking effortless action, you can achieve the results that matter most with ease. Choose the lighter path today.